our sins of the past where we have development where there's no stormwater management and there's no volume control. And this is a future mitigation bank on Lawrence Brook. We're about to be approved, so that fragmented marsh will become a spartina marsh, hopefully next year. Petty's Run, an urban stream, is 319 funding. Chris mentioned it before. 319 funds, if you have a plan, and the plan has a lot of creativity to it, a lot of interesting projects can be done. This is an older plan, though, so it allowed stream restoration. The upper picture, that segment of Petty's Run, the banks were completely filled with garbage, so it might look natural with the right light. It was all ceramics from local ceramic works, and it's Trenton, so there was a lot of other stuff in it. And this was a daylighting project as part of it. You see the little white building on the right, same little white building. So all that section was daylighted. Floodplain banks that flood in small events, so we get good contact with root systems or water table at that point, which is better for nutrient removal. Another 319 grant. Shown rain garden, it was just done this year, but it also calls for stream stabilization, wetland project, and basin retrofits. Now we can look at Walnut Brook. This was New Jersey Wetland Mitigation Council funding. It's another source of funds that haven't really been tapped into. What John had talked about is how much money is out there. The Mitigation Council was sitting on $5 million. The problem is it's matching up money with property. So any municipality or county property could be used for mitigation funds to enhance or create habitat. It's hard to match property and money. As easy as it sounds, it is not that easy. And what that project was focused on was reconnection of stream to floodplain, floodplain enhancement, and reforestation. This is an in-stream grade control structure. What it helped to do is it used to flood on larger events, greater than a 5-year event. Now to bank over top somewhere between a 1 and 2 year storm. So it helped push that stream during great events into the floodplain. And as part of it, we lowered the floodplain, so smaller events will still flood. Again, the big issue with floodplain enhancement is taking volume out of the stream to reduce in-stream impacts. And that's what the site looks like as of the end of August. This is a good one. Mitigation Council funding to remove a small dam. It's in Hunterdon Land Trust property, and it's a very small dam. Only has about a 1/4 acre impoundment. But it was funded with council funds to remove a dam. I'm sure there's people out here that have dams that aren't really used anymore, that it's very costly normally to remove a dam. This is the Grundyke Dam, and again, it shows the value of partnerships for a lot of these projects. NRCS, Warren Morris County, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, back to Partners for Wildlife, and New Jersey RC&D. This is what the dam looked like initially. Immediate after removal, and later this year. One of the things to look at is now that floodplain that used to be underwater now is revegetated. And create an opportunity for much more nutrient removal, sediment removal, and all those functions that I mentioned before have been fostered through the removal of the dam. West Milford Lake, the interesting thing about this project, it's a Class 1 dam that the state wants removed, and it will be done as mitigation for the Tennessee gas pipeline, for riparian zone mitigation. So now we have a dam removed for mitigation, which is another good thing. Here, you can write this down. I talked to him yesterday to make sure that everyone can write his name down and call him. He has money. He would like to share it with you. This is the Partners for Fish and Wildlife Service. And we said before about you can't use it for mitigation. It's very correct. And it's the first thing he'll ask. But Well, how we work with Eric a lot is we might have a mitigation project, but there's still part of the site that falls outside our mitigation. And he will work with us then and restore those parts that are outside of the mitigation. You have to draw very clean lines on the plans for him, but he's more than willing to work with anybody in any context to restore habitat. And he's done some interesting things too. He's done forest. He removed multi-floor rose and Japanese barberry from forests. He's done invasive species management forests. He actually worked next to that Somerset County Mitigation Bank doing invasive species management and tree planting. Now, stormwater mitigation I'm going to bring up because it's something that isn't done. The stormwater rules have an opportunity to do mitigation for projects that can't fully comply. Currently, an applicant to a municipal board will ask for a waiver, a variance, especially design waivers, because they can't achieve all the requirements of the Stormwater Management Act. Well, there's an opportunity. If there's a mitigation plan, you can collect fees to do projects elsewhere. It can be all kinds of projects. So if it's a volume control issue, we can talk about reforestation, naturalization of sites removing grass, reconnection of streams to floodplains, floodplain enhancement, hydrologic restoration. They can all be opportunities done through stormwater mitigation. Currently, there's very few stormwater mitigation plans in the state. Chris, do you know how many plans might even be approved in New Jersey?
Not a lot.
A handful. It's an opportunity for every municipality to take advantage of and to be able to get some level of restoration out of unique funding source.
When you say it has to be a violation?
Doesn't have to be a violation, it's a variance. So right now, there's regulations they have to satisfy, and if they can't, for whatever reason on a project, there's no opportunity for them to do anything but request a variance or get a waiver. So now, say to go to a site and say, I can't satisfy my recharge requirement. And they get a waiver. But if there was a mitigation plan, they say, well, that's fine. It'll cost you this much and we'll direct it to a project that can mitigate for your impacts. It just hasn't been done.
But doesn't that go into the state pot?
It goes to the municipal pot.
Okay.
It's a municipal plan. And here's an example. In Pennsylvania, they look at floodplain enhancement as a stormwater B&P. This project was built to compensate for volume that they couldn't recharge on the site. This is my favorite. We have ditches all over this state. This is a ditch in the winter before we plug it. This is the same system the next year. That water now no longer leaves the site. You're restoring the hydrology of that forested wetland. You're creating habitat, and all that volume no longer gets into the watershed. It's very simple. Naturalizing basins. Retrofits can be done with mitigation money. This is just a basin that was, I'm going to call it a retrofit only because it was going to be a rectangular basin initially, and ended up being this, with like 180 different plant species in a stormwater basin. Riparian buffer planting, all be done through that stormwater mitigation, if anyone ever develops a plan. So, basin retrofits, wow. New Jersey is fertile territory for retrofitting basins.
That's beautiful.
And this one,
They need to plant some more house seeds.
you know what? That was a mistake. Someone missed this. I don't understand why, but these were all like 5-acre lots, and they had those giant houses, and what was really comical, they plant those little tiny 1-foot trees in front of them. But this basin's only 3 years old. We can't get away from these concrete channels. It's amazing. Maybe someday. Anyway, thank you.